She accepted a $400 babysitting job for just one night without knowing it would change her life forever. The story begins in 1980 and follows a college student named Samantha who is searching for a new place to live. She can no longer stand living in her dorm because her roommate, Heather, frequently brings her boyfriend into their room to make love, making Samantha feel extremely uncomfortable. Fortunately, Samantha manages to find a one-bedroom apartment that rents for only $300 a month. The landlord is even kind enough to waive the security deposit, meaning she only has to pay the first month's rent by Monday, about 5 days away. Once the payment is made, she will be allowed to move in the following weekend. Unfortunately, as a college student living away from home, Samantha simply doesn't have enough money to cover the rent.
It's just what I've been looking for.
Well, great. Welcome to your new home. Give me the first month's down. We'll call it a day, all right? I'll agree to waive all the deposits. You just get me the check by Monday. I'll have you in by the end of the week.
Desperate for cash, she calls a part-time babysitting job advertisement she found on a campus bulletin board. However, when she calls from a payphone, the call goes straight to voicemail, leaving her only enough time to leave her name and a contact number. Strangely, just a few seconds after she hangs up, the payphone suddenly rings.
Hello?
Samantha.
On the other end of the line is a man named Vincent Ullman, who says he is calling about the babysitting job and asks Samantha to meet him in front of the Student Affairs building. What confuses Samantha is that Vincent hangs up immediately without telling her exactly when they are supposed to meet.
I would like to meet you.
Sure.
Meet me in front of the Student Affairs office.
Although she finds the situation suspicious, Samantha waits for hours in front of the Student Affairs building because she desperately needs the job, but Vincent never shows up. Feeling disappointed, Samantha tells her best friend, Megan, everything that happened. Seeing how badly Samantha is struggling financially, Megan even offers to ask her father for help if Samantha cannot afford the rent for her new apartment. She also suggests taking down every one of Vincent's babysitting posters from the campus bulletin boards, so no one else will go through the same experience. However, Samantha decides to let it go and not make a bigger issue out of it.
Megan, how am I gonna afford all this stuff?
Just relax, it's Wednesday. You should go around campus, rip down all of the other posters you put up.
No, I just want to forget it.
When she returns to her dorm, she once again finds the room in complete disarray. Heather is already fast asleep, snoring loudly, making Samantha even more convinced that moving out is the right decision. Thinking about the rent she still can't afford overwhelms her, and she quietly breaks down in tears while sitting alone in the bathroom. Not long after she returns to her room, Heather tells her that a man had called earlier and left a phone number for her. Without wasting any time, Samantha immediately calls the number. It turns out to be Vincent. He apologizes for missing their meeting earlier, explaining that he had been tied up with several unexpected matters that needed his immediate attention. Vincent then tells Samantha that he still urgently needs a babysitter that very night and is willing to pay double the usual rate, offering her $100 if she can come over as soon as possible. The offer is simply too good to refuse. For Samantha, that money could be the first step toward paying the rent on her new apartment. She accepts the job and heads to Vincent's address with Megan, who drives her there. Along the way, the radio keeps discussing the total lunar eclipse expected to take place that night, and almost everyone is talking about the rare event because it is expected to be clearly visible. During the drive, Megan finally admits that she secretly removed every one of Vincent's babysitting posters from the campus bulletin boards because she didn't want anyone else to go through the same experience Samantha did. Hearing this, Samantha can only hope Megan's actions won't cause any trouble. As they get closer to their destination, the roads become increasingly isolated. They even have to drive through a forest and pass a cemetery before finally arriving at Vincent's house. Parked outside the house is a red Volvo. Samantha and Megan are welcomed by Vincent, the man who had previously contacted Samantha over the phone. With a friendly smile, Vincent invites them inside the house.
You're a doll for agreeing to this.
As they make small talk, he explains that he and his wife have only recently moved to town. Ever since their arrival, they have barely had a moment to spare because they have been busy with countless things, especially since that night happens to coincide with a total lunar eclipse. Vincent also mentions that their house is located in one of the best places to view the eclipse. Jokingly, however, he insists that he is not an astronomer. Once the conversation becomes more relaxed, Vincent asks Samantha to speak with him privately in another room. There, Vincent finally admits that he has not been completely honest about the job. He explains that although they do have a child, their child is already an adult. So instead of babysitting a young child as advertised, Samantha's actual job is to keep Vincent's mother-in-law, Danielle, company for the evening. Hearing this, Samantha immediately considers turning the job down because she has no experience taking care of elderly people. However, Vincent quickly reassures her that Danielle is not ill and does not require any medical care. Samantha simply needs to stay in the house in case Danielle needs assistance after waking up later that night, making the job no different from regular babysitting. Even after hearing the explanation, Samantha is still hesitant because Vincent lied to her from the very beginning. Realizing this, Vincent does everything he can to persuade her to stay. He first offers her an extra $100. When Samantha still refuses to change her mind, he raises the offer by another $200. In the end, Vincent offers to pay her a total of $400 just to keep Danielle company for one night. Such a generous amount is almost impossible to refuse, especially since Samantha desperately needs the money to pay the rent for her new apartment. After thinking it over for a moment, she finally accepts the offer. Megan, however, becomes even more suspicious. To her, the entire situation feels far too strange. They had already been lied to about the job, and now Vincent is suddenly offering an enormous amount of money just for keeping an elderly woman company for a few hours. Megan begs Samantha to leave with her, but Samantha decides to stay. She simply asks Megan to come back and pick her up around 12:30 a.m. after her job is finished.
We leave. This is beyond weird. It's mental. You know, they lied to you.
Megan, please, I need the money. It's $400 for 4 hours?
It's so stupid.
Promise me you'll be here by 12:30 and then it's over.
Frustrated that Samantha ignores her warning, Megan eventually leaves the house. Instead of driving straight home, she pulls over near a cemetery not far from Vincent's house. While smoking a cigarette, she tries to light it, but her lighter suddenly stops working. At that moment, a mysterious man named Victor appears and offers her his lighter. At first, nothing seems unusual. However, the moment Victor realizes Megan is not the woman who came to work at the house, his expression immediately changes. Without saying a single word, he pulls out a gun and shoots Megan in the head, killing her instantly.
Jesus.
Are you not the babysitter?
No, I'm not the babysitter. My friend.
Meanwhile, Samantha has no idea that her best friend has just been murdered. Vincent gives Samantha a $200 advance payment to help her feel more at ease, along with a little extra money to buy dinner. He also tells her that the pizza restaurant's phone number is posted on the refrigerator door. According to Vincent, Danielle is still asleep, so Samantha does not need to do anything for the time being. She simply needs to stay in the house in case Danielle requires any help after waking up later that night. Once everything has been explained, Vincent gives Samantha the phone number and hotel address where he and his wife, Vivian, will be staying so she can reach them if an emergency arises. Vincent then says he needs to go upstairs to get Vivian before they leave.
But you need to be alert just in the off chance that there's an emergency. It's a number where we'll be just in case you need us. Get upstairs and get the missus.
However, a moment later, Samantha accidentally overhears their conversation from downstairs. Vincent can be heard saying that there must not be another mistake like before. He also says that Samantha is the perfect girl and that after tonight, everything will finally be complete. Samantha quietly listens, unable to understand what he means. A few moments later, Vivian suddenly walks in from another room and warmly greets Samantha. Samantha is confused because Vincent had just said he was going upstairs to get his wife, yet Vivian appears from the direction of the basement instead. Vivian explains that she had gone downstairs to retrieve her fur coat. She says she grew up in the desert and is not used to cold weather. After chatting for a little while longer, Vincent and Vivian leave the house in their red Volvo, leaving Samantha alone with Danielle, whom she still has not seen.
Well, then let's get to it. Mustn't let the night get away from us.
You did it.
Samantha tries calling Megan several times, but none of her calls are answered. Assuming Megan is still upset that her advice was ignored, Samantha leaves an apologetic voicemail.
Leave me a message and I'll call you right back.
Hey, sorry if you're mad. Just hurry up and be home.
Feeling bored, she orders a pizza using the number Vincent left for her. The delivery driver tells her it will arrive in about 30 minutes. While waiting, Samantha spends her time exploring almost every corner of the house. She wanders from room to room, plays the piano, looks around the study, and even goes upstairs to a large white room with enormous windows overlooking the front yard. From time to time, she also watches the news, which continues covering the total lunar eclipse. According to the broadcast, the eclipse will reach totality at exactly midnight, when the moon is completely covered by the Earth's shadow. Afterward, Samantha puts on her Walkman, listens to music, and continues wandering through the house. While walking around, she accidentally bumps into a decorative vase, knocking it onto the floor where it shatters into pieces. While cleaning up the broken pieces of the decorative vase, Samantha's attention is suddenly drawn to Vivian's wardrobe on the second floor. Something immediately feels off. Didn't Vivian just say she had gone down to the basement to retrieve her fur coat? If that were true, then why were all of her fur coats hanging upstairs? Her curiosity grows even stronger. Samantha then notices a plastic bag containing several family photo albums. Strangely, however, the people in the photographs are an entirely different family, not Vincent or Vivian. One of the photos even shows them posing in front of the same red Volvo now being driven by the couple. The discovery makes Samantha's uneasy feeling grow even stronger. Feeling increasingly unsettled, she steps outside for a moment to clear her mind. While standing in the yard, she notices a van parked near the house. Unbeknownst to Samantha, however, a mysterious man is hiding behind the vehicle, secretly watching her every move. Completely unaware that she is being observed, Samantha tries calling Megan again, but just like before, none of her calls are answered. Her anxiety continues to grow. She even takes a kitchen knife with her when going to the bathroom, just in case something happens. Not long afterward, she hears a strange noise coming from upstairs. Slowly, Samantha follows the sound until she stops in front of a closed door.
Is everything all right in there?
Although she is curious, she cannot bring herself to open it. Instead, she calls out to Danielle from outside, but there is no response. While Samantha remains standing outside the door, the film reveals to the audience what lies inside. 3 blood-soaked bodies are scattered across the room. They are the very same family Samantha had seen in the photo albums earlier. Their gruesome condition makes it appear as though they have fallen victim to some horrifying ritual. A few moments later, the doorbell rings, signaling that the pizza she ordered has arrived. Samantha goes downstairs to collect it before heading back inside. Unbeknownst to her, the delivery driver is actually Victor, the same man who murdered Megan earlier. As he hands over the pizza, Victor quietly observes the area around the house before leaving. At the same time, the total lunar eclipse draws closer to totality. Samantha is now convinced that something is terribly wrong. She decides to call the emergency number Vincent gave her, only to discover that the number is no longer in service. Realizing Vincent gave her a fake number sends her into a panic. In desperation, Samantha briefly attempts to call 911, but before the call can go through, she changes her mind and hangs up. Moments later, the house phone suddenly rings. It is a 911 operator informing her that they have just received a call from the house. Samantha quickly assures the operator that everything is fine and that there is no emergency before hanging up. Trying to calm herself, Samantha sits in the living room and begins eating the pizza she ordered. After only a few bites, however, she notices that it tastes strange and immediately throws it into the trash. Despite her growing fear, Samantha returns upstairs and once again approaches the mysterious door. She still refuses to open it, believing Danielle may be resting inside. Instead, she decides to search the other rooms until she enters a bathroom. There, she is horrified to discover an enormous clump of hair in the bathtub. The amount is far too much to be normal, convincing her that something truly horrifying is happening inside the house. Samantha continues searching until she arrives at the attic entrance. Just as she reaches for the light switch, the electricity throughout the entire house suddenly goes out. At almost the exact same moment, the total lunar eclipse reaches totality. Suddenly, the attic door slowly swings open as if someone inside is about to come out. Samantha is overwhelmed with terror. Her body immediately goes weak. Her vision begins to blur, and she eventually collapses unconscious before she can see who or what is behind the attic door. When Samantha finally regains consciousness, she finds herself lying in the middle of a demonic summoning circle surrounded by dozens of burning candles. Her hands and feet are tightly bound, and a cloth has been stuffed into her mouth, leaving her barely able to cry out for help. A few moments later, Vincent, Vivian, Victor, and Danielle enter the room. It is then revealed that Victor is actually the son of Vincent and Vivian. Meanwhile, Danielle's appearance is horrifying, to the point where she barely resembles a human anymore. Without wasting any time, they immediately begin the ritual. Danielle uses blood to draw a star-shaped symbol on Samantha's stomach before placing a goat's skull directly on top of it. She then slices open her left hand, lets her blood drip into the skull, smears some of it onto Samantha's forehead, and finally forces Samantha to drink the blood collected inside the skull. Throughout the ritual, Samantha desperately struggles to free herself from the ropes binding her hands and feet until she finally manages to break loose. A violent fight immediately breaks out. Samantha stabs Vincent with a sharp object before jabbing Victor in the eye with her finger, causing him to scream in agony. It is only then that Samantha realizes the true purpose of the ritual. The Ullman family's ritual is meant to turn her into a vessel to carry the offspring of a demon. Danielle plays a crucial role in the ceremony, while Vincent, Vivian, and Victor are merely the family members who have devoted their lives to making the ritual possible. Taking advantage of the chaos, Samantha quickly runs upstairs. However, the first thing she finds is Megan's lifeless body lying in a gruesome state. At the same time, Victor shoots Samantha in her left shoulder. Despite her injury, Samantha fights back and manages to slash Victor's throat with a knife before escaping once again. Seeing Victor die fills Vivian with rage, and she relentlessly chases after Samantha. Meanwhile, Samantha suddenly begins experiencing excruciating pain in her abdomen. At the same time, terrifying visions of Danielle's face repeatedly appear in her mind. Not long afterward, Vivian catches up with Samantha. Fortunately, Samantha manages to fight back at the last second by stabbing Vivian from behind while she is off guard. After taking Victor's gun, Samantha attempts to call 911. However, her mind is constantly haunted by disturbing visions of Danielle. Panicked, Samantha keeps running until she finally reaches the cemetery. Vincent, who somehow survives the stabbing, follows her while struggling to endure his injuries. Before getting any closer, Vincent tells Samantha that Danielle has chosen her. According to him, the ritual has already been completed, and there is no longer any way for Samantha to escape her fate. At first, Samantha intends to shoot Vincent, but after realizing that something is terribly wrong with her own body, she turns the gun on herself and pulls the trigger.
No, just stop. Just speak with me. They're calling to you. Just listen to them. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Kill me if you want. Give him the sign. He's chosen you. Only moments away now. No!
The following morning, television stations report a strange phenomenon surrounding the previous night's total lunar eclipse. Astronomers are left baffled because the eclipse ended much sooner than it should have. Since ancient times, lunar eclipses have often been associated with myths involving demonic powers and occult rituals. The biggest surprise, however, is that Samantha is still alive and recovering in a hospital. Despite having apparently shot herself in the head, she survives. A nurse even tells her that both she and the baby she is carrying are perfectly healthy. Although Samantha manages to escape the house alive, the ritual carried out by Vincent's family has already been completed. The demon has successfully planted its seed inside Samantha, and the child she is carrying is no ordinary baby, but the future offspring of a demon. And with that, the story comes to an end.